Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to create this stunning poke card together to practice some CSS skills and a little bit of JavaScript. Okay? I am Batman. Sorry, I am NeoDev. Let's grow up together and let's get started. What do we have exactly? Well, we have just a toggle class. As you can see, we have our image and a counter, like so. In order to start, let's go inside of our VS Code, inside of our index.html. Regarding the image, the total size, the code will be on my code pen and I will leave the link on the description below. Okay, now let's hit exclamation mark. Let's remove this meta tag. This is for Internet Explorer. Now title of poke card, pretty straightforward. Now let's go with my link and let's go with the website icon. I'm going to choose the SVG logo. Let's remove the type attribute. This is for Internet Explorer, as well as the shortcut keyword. Now let's go and hit live server in order to see what's going on. Meanwhile, less icons. Let's go here and link our icons from boxicons.com/usage. This link, scrap this, paste it, and of course use CSS. So that slash style.css. Okay. Okay. Yeah, great. Now let's move on and let's create inside of our body tag. First of all, my main tag. Then I need a div with the class of card. Then a section with the class of section with the class of tab. My god, section with the class of tab, and then a section with the class of bottom. Okay, so for the top part, we need to span with the class of fire, with the class of icon, and the icon itself. And this is coming from our box icons/usage. Oh my god, I cannot grab this. Whatever. I.box small and hot. And that should do it. There you go. Now just be did that span. Let's go and create our photo div. And our body bg div. Let's go with figure, that element, then a new div with class of zoom and icon as well. And for this I will have the plus circle icon. Just let me grab, paste, and there you go. Now outside of that body underscore bg, we have an h3 with the class of poke name. Okay, outside, so right here, poke name and totodial, and h3 with the class of poke type. And this is gonna be word, like so. Now, outside of that photo div, we just need to create another span dot code dot icon, and in this case, it's going to be my CSS logo or icon logo, like this. There you go. Now on the section bottom, we need to start with the about class. So right here, go with about, then an h3 with the class of title of about text, and a paragraph tag with the class of text. Okay, right there. Now outside of the about, we have another div called likes underscore info, which is a wrapper. Then an h3 with the class of likes underscore number. This is where our corner is going to be, and then an h3 with the class of likes underscore text, and this is going to be just likes. Our final div is going to be btns hyphen wrap, and then a button with the button with the class of capture, and the button with the class of save. Okay, so there you go. 2 buttons. Okay, I think that's it for our index.html. Now let's go with the CSS. First of all, we need to go to Google Fonts. Please target this Negrito Sans and like 200. Okay, it's just going to grab the import rule, and then for my global CSS selector, I need to establish that font family. So paste, and need to restart everything again. So margin, none, padding, none, box sizing, border box. Okay, Now let me get started with my body. So let's remove it. We don't need that anymore. Okay, there you go. And inside of my body, I need to start with a background color, background image, and background repeat. That's shorthand. There you go. Now I need to give it an overflow of hidden, length, height of 100 view height, or BH. Now let's go and target our main styles here. We need to say mean height, the same height as the body. Then I need to display my content as a grid and put them all of them at the center. Okay, now for my global icon CSS, I'm grabbing every single icon and I'm going to give it a color of white and a font size of 1.7 rem for each icon initially. Now let's go and create our card now. So with the class of card with a 400 pixels, a background color should be white, and border radius should be 0.6 rem, position relative, overflow hidden, and now a box shadow. Since I am extremely lazy to type the value, just gonna paste it. There you go. Now we need to create our circle shape. Okay, so basically we need just to target the card and use the pseudo CSS selector called before. And I need to create first of all my content, which initially is going to be an empty string. Then I'm going to give it a position of absolute, then a width of 100%, height of 270 pixels. Then I'm going to give you a background image, and that is going to be related with my linear gradient, like so. Okay, finally I need to create the circle shape. In order to do that, we just need to type clip -path, call the circle function. First the radius, 400 pixels of radius, and then my coordinates, so at 50% x-axis, sorry if I say that wrong, and then minus 48.5% for the y-axis. Okay, just the coordinates. There we go. Now remember that each section, we have two sections. First of all, the top. So top, let's go with position relative. Let's give it a height of 265 pixels. Then the display, this is an, oh my god, display, this is a flex element. All right, and we needed to give it some padding in order for you to be able to see some space. And finally, justify content space between. And there you go. Now we need to target this part, which is our photo, and I will need to put that like literally at the center, right here where is my mouse, you know, at the center. In order to do that, photo is an flex item, so we just need to say align self center, and there you go. But this photo is also a father. Where are you? Yes, my photo is also a father of 3 elements. So here I'm going to say display flex align items center, justify content center, but flex direction column. All right, great. Now I need to target my body underscore background, so I just need to say photo and then target my body underscore bg for background. And here let me get started with width and height with the same values, 110 pixels. Then give it a border radius of 50% in order to make it circular. Now I need to give it a background image, again going to use the linear gradient. There you go, 3 colors. Now I need to say overflow hidden, and to give it some margin at the bottom, margin button 0.5 rem, and that should do it. All right, some space between the text and that body background. Now I need to target my figure, so again photo, we go with figure, and we need to say position of relative, width 100%, height 100% to take, you know, full dimension of its father. Now here I'm going to call my background image but not just that. First of all, background image, using the URL function, we need to target to look for my total image. Of course, you're not able to see it until I say no repeat, and then center, which is background position, and cover, which is background size. Ta-da-da! There you go. Finally, my cursor of pointer, because this is going to have a hover effect. Okay, let's move on, and we need to target my zoom icon itself. So figure that zoom, I need to say position of absolute. I'm going to move this loop, this circle plus at the middle. And again, I wanted that to take full width and height of the father. So just gonna grab, paste. Then I'm going to use a background color, a different background color, using the RGBA function. There you go. And finally, in order to display my icon at the center, we just need to say display grid is one way, and then place my cat, and then yes, place items at the center. There you go. Okay, now I need to change the font size of this icon, so I just need to say zoom I, which is my icon, then say font size 3 rem. And now finally my hover effect. I need to say if my figure is being hover, I want to target who, what my zoom, and just need to give it an opacity of 1, because remember, if I hover this, opacity 1, then if I remove, opacity 0. So in order to achieve that, because we're already able to see that, we just need to go back inside of this and give it the initial not position but values, initial values for hover effect. And I forgot that I'm inside of CSS and not sassy CSS. Okay, so there we go. Let's give it a transition duration of 0.5 seconds, and initially my value of opacity none. Now if I hover, ta-da, there you go. Now moving on with the H3, which is this part. We just need to say photo H3. We need to give it a color, line height, letter spacing. So super lazy, just grab this, paste so this color, font size, line height, between each line, you know, some space, and then letter spacing for each letter, and finally a little bit of margin between each H3. Right, now let's go with my, where are you, bottom, Jesus, with my bottom section. Okay, bottom. Naturally I need to target my bottom section, and then let's get started with the padding. Now inside of my bottom section, how many elements do I have, or do we have? 1, 2, 3 of them. So display flex, and then I need to say flex wrap, well, wrap for this part. There you go. Now we need to target the about. So right here we say about section, which is my first div, my first flex item. And then I need to say flex. This is a shorthand for flex grow. It's going to be the value of 2, and flex shrink is going to be 60%. All right. Now let's give it a margin right with the value of 1 rem, as well as the padding bottom. Padding bottom 1 rem. All right. That's for my about. Now I need to target the title. So about title, and it's going to have the following. So let me grab this, just changing the color, give it some padding and margin, position relative, and font size. This is my title, about. Okay, now since I gave that position relative, I will use an about, then title, and pseudo CSS selector called after. Same idea, same way as we did with the circle shape. We just need to start with the content, empty string, and I need to give it a position of absolute, then give it a height of 3 pixels, then give it a width of 50%, and now let's give it a background color of 555. This is going to be the underscore line right here. That's what we are creating, this underscore line or underline. Okay, so then let's give it a left position to start from 0 at the very left, and then the bottom as well. Now, in order to to see that like our final view, we just need to go back right here, you know, fixing the underline, and in this case we just need to say the following: display this title is an inline block element. Where are you? Just right there. See, let me just remove, and instead of a block element, inline block element, because it's taking, you know, just the space of the text, and it's taking the half of the space as well as we set this. All right, then let's move on and talk about the text. So about that text, we need to say the following: just color, line height, and font weight. Color, line height, and font weight for my text, my description or descriptive text. All right, now let's go with the likes. So likes underscore info. Let me start with my flex shorthand. So grow 2 and shrink 20%. All right, now remember that this is flex item because it belongs to this father, the bottom. Okay, so I will say align self at the center first of all, and then the text align at the center. You know, we are taking shape like this. See? Okay, now let's carry on and talk about likes underscore number. And for this is pretty straightforward styles. Font size, font weight, this is just text style. No big deal with that. It's just gonna paste it. And the same idea will go with the likes underscore text. Same idea, since they are styling for their properties for styling the text, no big deal there. Okay, and then we need to go with my buttons right here. Let's go with the father, which is btns hyphen wrap, and I need to say again, this is a flex item. So if I say flex grow, it's going to start with the value of 3. Now this is a father as well, so if I say display flex for my 2 buttons that are inside of that father, see, so display flex. Now let's get a little bit of margin at the top, not left but top, of 5 pixels. Right, now for each button they both have the caps different classes. So first it was capture, and then it was save. Both of them, they will have the following styles or properties. So both of them is going to start with the flex, no, grow with the value of 4, both of them. Now again, okay, I'm just gonna type a font size 0.7 ring, font weight 700, letter spacing 1 pixel, text transform, where are you, text transform uppercase. Let's give border radius for my buttons of 18 pixels. Let's give a cursor pointer and a transition right here 0.5 seconds, because my buttons, they are going to have a hover effect. So let me grab this, close this, and for both of them they will have the hover effect. Right, and here I just need to say flex grow 5, I think, or I believe, hover, there you go. Now and separately we need to start with my capture, because this is going to be a different styling. So first of all, some padding at the top and bottom, and border none. Now my background image is going to be that color. Then my color itself is going to be white for the text color, and margin right to give some space of 3 pixels. Right, now for my save button, it's going to be a different padding with the border and the color and the margin left. I mean, if I grab this, let's give it some padding, border with that color, text color, and margin left, and there you go. We have like there was a our final view See? Okay, now let's carry on, and we need to create our model now. So inside of my index HTML, we need to style that model first, and above the main tag, like so, let's say model. And oh my god, let's create our model first by saying that div, not div, but model, my bad, a div with a class of model. Then let's get started with my image, and it's going to be naturally my total dial image to dial. All right, now let's go with the span, with the class of close, with the class of icon, and inside of this we're going to have our X icon, this X icon. Okay, so I will leave that for our final view. Let me just paste that icon. Where are you? Okay, of course the image looks whooping, so let me mess around with the source attribute. This is my image, and this is my, my X icon. Okay, now we need to go back inside of our CSS, just beneath everything, naturally. Let's go with modal. This is going to be our modal part or section, and let's get started with the model. So my model is going to have a width 100%, height 100%, because I need my model to take full width and height, full dimension of my viewport. All right, and not 100% view height for the height. Okay, now let's get started and give it a position in a fix right here for my model. All right, now for testing purposes, while we are styling this model, which is going to say C index, just for testing purposes, with a value of 9. Now, in order to start with my model, I need my model to have the same background color, background image, like our previous view, this one, which is behind. All right, so in order to do that, you just need to grab what I already have here, because it's going to be the same value as before. There you go. Okay, now let's adjust our source attribute, remove that X in order to see our total image. Looks gigantic, but don't worry about it, we will fix that in a moment. So model, my image, and let's go with the position of absolute for the image itself, max width 100%, max height 100%. Let's go with the top 35%. Let's go with the left 50%. Finally transform and positioning that image, that's it. Then transform, translate, minus percent x axis, and the y minus percent also, and give it a scale of 0.2. Okay, this is the initial dimension of our image, because it's behind this part. So if I click on that, it's going to pop up. So okay, this is our initial image. As you can see, my image has a little reflection here. So in order to achieve that, we just need to say WebKit -box -reflect column. We just need to say the directions first below, because I need to reflect under the original image, a little bit spacing, and the background color image should be linear gradient function. In here, going to say my color is going to be from transparent till an RGB an RGB format 000, and for opacity 4. And there you go, we have our reflection down there. Okay, now we need to start this button to be at the very right side of our screen. So let's go here, say close, we say position of absolute, we need to give it a 1 rem top, and right to rem. Right, finally I need to change the font size, because this is going to be a little bit bigger than the other one. So font size for rem, I think it was, yes. And finally cursor of pointer for each icon. See, like in our final view. Okay then, so this is initially, and this is going to be the last dimension of my image when I because it's going to grow from little to to a little bit bigger. Awesome. Now I'm going to move now with the JavaScript. We just need a toggle class that I'm going to call active. But how do we get from this point, from this point till this point? First, we need to go back inside of our model. And oh my god, so blind. And it is right here. And let's remove this set index. Where is my model? No, just right here. Let's remove this. That was for testing purposes. It's gonna be initial values. Let's go right here. And our initial value is going to be C index -1, right? Because it's going to be just behind that car, that reflected image. And then we need to start from opacity 0. All right. Then beneath that, beneath this part, okay, my model image, I just need to create my, no, beneath that, I need to create the following. If my model has the class of active, I want to change that. So C index is going to have the value of 3, and naturally the opacity back to 1. Okay. Now, if we go inside of our HTML now, and please pay attention right here at the model, and I say active, boop, there you go. Now we need to take our image a little bit bigger to make our image a little bit bigger. So if we go back, we need to say the following. We need to say, if my model has the class of active, I want to target who exactly, where my image. Naturally, I need to change this top 50% to move this a little bit, down, and then need to say transform and everything that we did right here. So just gonna grab this, paste, remove. Instead of 0.2 is going to be changed to 0.6. See? Now if let's give it a whirl now, remove. If we go with active, there you go. Awesome. But we need to create that inside of our main.js that we haven't created that yet. So main.js, hit enter. Now beneath, so actually above the body closing tag, we just need to call that script, that main.js, like so. So again, DOM manipulation. What do we need exactly? Well, I guess we're going to need our figure, which is this circle, because if I click on that, it's going to open my model. And finally, I need to get the close icon. So first it was my figure, so I will say cons figure equals document, DOM manipulation, query selector who the figure. Okay, now then I need to target my model. Again, the document query selector and that model class, that div, and finally cons close icon. I'm just going to call it close icon, and this is going to be document that query selector, and it's going to call the close icon. All right, now here it's going to be pretty straightforward. So I told you before, this is just a toggle class, so we just need to say figure, oh my god, figure that add event listener of who click, and I need to trigger something. Oh my god, I need to trigger a callback function right here. So an arrow function, and just need to say modal class list add, because I'm going to add who the active, oh my god, active class. The same idea will go with my close icon. So right here, just gonna copy, paste. Instead of add, we are going to add to remove that class. So let's go back, let's give it a whirl, but first of all, let's remove that class. I believe, yes, remove this class. Let's go back here, let's give it a whirl right now, and ta-da, and ta-da, we are just toggling that class. Finally, let's go back inside our CSS and give them a smooth transition. So inside of modal, yes, right here, we just need to say transition 5 seconds for duration, and timing function, the speed of my animation is going to be is in. And the same idea will go for my image right here. So There you go. And let's give it a whirl again. Ta-da-da, ta-da-da. Okay, awesome. Now our circle functionality for this project is to create a counter. I mean this counter, you see? So in order to create that, we're going to use something that is called recursion. In JavaScript, recursion is a programming technique where a function calls itself repeatedly until a certain condition is met. In order to create a counter, we need first to set our final point. In other words, the limit. So if we go back inside of our HTML, inside of our counter, we need to use, or I'm going to use the data attribute. In order to create that attribute, we just need to type, as you see, data hyphen in whatever the name you want to put it. In this case, I'm just going to call it target. And our final point, the final number to count is going to be 4000x600. Okay, this is going to be our limit. Now let's go back inside of our main.js and again do manipulation. So const number equals to document that query selector who.h3, which was likes underscore number, but with the dot at the beginning. Okay, likes underscore number. There you go. Okay, we have our element now. Since we are creating a counter, let's create a variable called count, and this starts from 0. Then a function, because we're going to use recursion, and I'm going to call it set count with no params. And inside of this, we need to get my target const target. And how can we do that? We just need to type number in order to get my attribute. This is one way to get an attribute, it's not the only way, but I'm going to use that method. And for a argument, we just need to type the name of that data attribute. So data hyphen target it was called, and indeed, yes, data hyphen target. Okay, but this is returning a string. Okay, so console that log, let's console that log that target and call that set count function. All right, this is going to be the target and type of target. This is going to be 4600 and this is going to be string. I mean, if I inspect the page now, let's go within the console and yes, 400, 600 and the type is string. I need to convert this into a number. You can use the parse int method. You can do it, but I think it's a little bit easier just to add a plus sign at the beginning, and it's going to turn, as you've seen, the number the string into a number. See? Okay, great. Let's remove that. Let's remove this. Now our second step is going to be that I want my count to count by 8 units, or to be counted by 8 units. So count equals count by 8 units. But there is another way to do that. We just need to say count plus equals 8. Pretty much the same. Okay. Now remember what I said about recursion. Recursion is a programming technique where a function calls this function is going to call itself repeatedly until what a certain condition is met. So here we're going to have a conditional to stop calling my function, otherwise it's going to be an infinite loop and we don't want that. So we're going to say if my count is less than what my target, naturally I want to use my number, my h3, put that inner text, the content of that text should be equals to the count. And please call again, because this is recursion, I said count function. Okay, let me comment that out until I get an infinite loop. Okay, otherwise this is my condition, because I need a conditional to stop calling the function. Okay, this is my condition right here. Otherwise, just number that inner text should be equals to my target. So basically I'm saying, please, since my counting is counting by 8 units, the current value of that count is going to be displayed in my number element, which is my h3. this one is going to be displayed there. So it's going to be 8, 16, and so on, and it's going to call the set count again. So it's going to start from here until here, and again and again and again, until this condition is break, or this condition is no longer true, because my count is going to be more than equals more than my target. Therefore, I just want to display the target, which has the value of 4,600. Okay. Now let's give it a whirl, and ta-da! What happened? Well, behind the scenes, JavaScript did work for us. Of course, it did, but we were not able to see the process. So here, right here, we need to change this piece of code. In order to see those changes, we just need to call set time out function, and this is going to be called every less than 2 milliseconds. So if I go back again, okay, I think I made a mistake. Oh, okay, yeah, no parentheses, my bad, without parentheses, and there you go, we're looking our counter. The last detail I want to show for this counter is the format. As you've seen, I'm showing the 4.ck format, I mean that format. First, I need to create a function right here. I'm just going to call it nfm, going to call it convert. Here we're going to set a parameter, and in order to get that point, that decimal and then k logic, we just need to say the following. First, I need to create a variable, going to call it result, and naturally I will return that result from this function. And here's where the magic is going to happen. So basically, when my counter is more than 1,000, I need to convert that to point something units. All right, so naturally I'm going to divide my number by 1,000, and then I need to show only one decimal, and we're going to use the toFix method. In here I want to show 1 decimal, and here I need to return, going to use backticks, the format, so $, curly braces, and my format is going to be attached the letter K on it. Okay, now I need to call that function, but where exactly? Right here. We're going to use a ternary operator. We're going to say if my count is more than what the 999, which means that if my count has the value of 1,000, please start to convert. This is my function convert. Let's use capital C. Okay, I'm going to call my function convert and going to inject my count. So in this case, my count is going to have the value of 1,000, and this is how we can call this function. Okay, otherwise just return the count, which is less than 1,000. All right, finally at the end I need to convert as well this part, because remember my target is 4,000, literally 4,600, and I need to convert that as well. So I think that should do it. So let's go back. Where are you? And there you go. We can say that we already done it, but spare me a few more minutes to add one final feature that's going to be the speed of our counter. Now you're able to see, yes, it's counted but with a certain speed, but you can change that. So just beneath my count variable, we're going to create a const called speed. It should be equals to 1,000. All right, now inside of my set count right here, just beneath the target, I just need to say the following: const increment should be equals to target divided by my speed. Okay, now instead of using this, oh my god, what did I do? Okay, speed, okay, this is my increment. I'm sorry. Then after my counter, I need to say let x should be equals to what exactly? My count plus my increment. in order to give it some speed. All right, now inside of my conditional right here, let me just copy, Control C, Control V, let me comment this out, and I need to say the following. Instead of the count, I'm going to convert who? My X. My X, yes, the letter X, sorry. All right, now if we give it a whirl, but have you seen we have that little .6 at the end? You know, in order to fix that, we just need to say the following right here. We just need to convert that count. So math, we're going to use the method math seal. We're going to use that X, and again, no longer that .6 decimal at the end. Okay, awesome guys.
Good job!
Well guys, that's it for our video. As you can see, we just toggle a class, we had our counter and everything, you know, we just did this stunning poke card. Okay, once again, I'm NeoDev. If you find this video useful in any way, please leave a like and consider to subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them and I will be pleased to read them. See you the next one.